Welcome to Tabletop Battle Adventures. It's July 21st, 1861, 10:40 a.m. Turn 2, Part 1. We are fighting the Battle of First Manassas BullRun. We will be using the American Civil War rules that I wrote over the last year and a half. We'll take a quick look. We won't look through the entire book, but as the battle unfolds, we'll continue to use the rule book. I'm learning the rules also. The Federal Army of Northeastern Virginia, commanded by Brigadier General Irvin McDowell, is on the attack. McDowell's bold plan calls for General Tyler, 1st Division's commander, to perform a diversionary attack at the Stone Bridge over Bull Run Creek. This is the Warrington Turnpike that goes this direction. And here it crosses the Manassas Sudley Road. And it goes this direction. And this other road, where most of the rebel reinforcements will be coming from, is the Rock Road. To get us oriented, we are looking south, and the Federal attack is coming from the northwest. Meanwhile, the 2nd and 3rd Divisions, led by Colonel David Hunter and Colonel Samuel Heinzelman, have crossed the Sudley Spring Ford, which is undefended. From this position to the north of the Confederates' left flank. So we are looking from behind Burnside's brigade, which is the 2nd Brigade of Colonel David Hunter's 2nd Division. The Confederate Army of the Potomac, commanded by Brigadier General P.G.T. Beauregard, is spread out along the Bull Run Creek, defending the bridges and fords. On the Confederates' far left, north flank, which is where we're looking at here, it's lightly defended by the 7th Brigade, commanded by Colonel Nathan G. Shanks. Evans, center screen. He's starting on ambush. P.G.T. Beauregard's chief signal officer, Captain Porter Alexander, positioned here with his signal operators with their wigwag flags. He notified Evans of the Yankees' moves early this morning. And so Evans left a detachment led by a captain of his 1st Louisiana Special Battalion and a captain from the 4th South Carolina with a few companies to defend Stonebridge. Colonel Evans took the rest of his 2 regiments and placed them here on Buck Hill. With him is his chief engineer officer, a captain. He also has Lieutenant Davidson with 2 guns, number 11 and number 12, both 12-pound howitzers. And they're from the 2nd Section Lynchburg Artillery, Virginia Artillery. One's positioned here, loaded, ready to fire, and they're digging in right now. So they only half the crew is going to fire, which is a -1 to hit. The other of this section is up here, moved on to Dogan Ridge, and they'll be unlimbering and adding their firepower from on top Dogan Ridge against Burnside's brigade. We'll go over in more detail the forces on the battlefield and marching toward the sounds of battle. I will be commanding the Confederate forces. I will use solo rules I wrote for the Yankees. My daughter, General McLilly, will command the Yankees whenever she wants to. I'm still working on, this is the rough draft that I'm going off of now, how we will roll for the Yankees when my daughter's not playing for them. Command roll, 1 and a 2. Whoever's the commander on the battlefield, currently Colonel Burnside, brigade commander, you roll. If it's a 1 or a 2, then he takes historical actions, and so does his brigade. Number 3 and 4, cautious actions, and you roll again another D3 to decide more in detail what they will do. And then a 5-6 is aggressive actions, and again roll another D3, and then it will tell you further details on what to do. And whenever we're not sure, we just do what would be most likely. So for the rebel forces, I already mentioned I have Colonel Evans, 7th Brigade Commander, on ambush. And he's got the engineer officer with him and his banner, his color bearer. And then he commands 2 regiments of infantry, the 1st Louisiana Special Battalion and the 4th South Carolina. And I already went over their positions. The red D6 represents 1 turn until the 4th South Carolina will be entrenched. Those logs they're beginning to put in front of themselves as they chop down some of the trees. Also, the 12-pound howitzer gun number 12 is also digging in. The brown D6s and green D6s show if the unit is loaded. So this unit is loaded. They have 1 capacity. They have smoothbore muskets. Where here with this detachment of cavalry, squadron of cavalry, they have revolvers and carbines, which are capacity of 6 before they need to reload. I already mentioned the Lynchburg, 2nd Section Lynchburg Artillery and their positions. And now we'll go over, there's 3 squadrons, actually there's more than 3 now. I've broken down my 30th Virginia Cavalry a few times. Let's start here with this squadron of 30th Virginia Cavalry led by Captain Terry. And they'll have their sergeant starting on ambush. And they are right here on Burnside's flank, thinking about making a move if the opportunity arrives. Another detachment here, led by the Sergeant Major of the 30th Virginia Cavalry, headed over to reinforce the other squadron. Up on the hill, Captain Porter Alexander, signal operator, with the 2 signal operators. Here is the Colonel Radford with squadron of 30th Virginia Cavalry heading over to reinforce yet another squadron of 30th Virginia Cavalry led by Captain Alexander. And they're moving into position here at the wooded part of Dogan Ridge to hold off Burnside's brigade as they push forward. Another special headquarters character here. This is the guide. He's a lieutenant. I think that's all the rebel forces. We'll talk about, just real quick, this is Dogan Ridge. This is Chin Ridge. Henry House Hill. The Robinson House. Buck Hill. Matthews Hill in the distance. And the Stone Bridge. And the objectives for my rebel forces are to protect the stone bridge and to slow down the flanking attack by the 2nd and 3rd Division of McDowell's Army of Northeastern Virginia while my reinforcements arrive. And most, I think all my reinforcements, as I mentioned, come from Rock Road, the end down there. There'll be a total of 15 rebel regiments of infantry, same for the Yankees, and 3. Well, there'll be a lot of reinforcements coming. I won't go over that, but as the battle progresses, as whatever time units historically arrived, reinforcements arrived, that's when they will arrive in this battle. So we're at 10:40 a.m., turn 2, and the next reinforcements to arrive will be turn 4, and it will be Sherman's brigade, which we'll go over the Union in forces in just a moment, and Porter's brigade. And Porter's brigade is the 1st brigade of Colonel David Hunter's 2nd Division, and it will be coming from behind Burnside's brigade. The next Confederate reinforcements will arrive turn 5, and it will be B's and Bartow's brigades, and 4 cannons from Imboden's battery. And so we will not be seeing reinforcements from my Confederates for quite a while. Turn 5, the next time we'll have. Oh, and I was saying, so 10:40 is turn 2, 10:50 will be turn 3, 11's turn 4, and that's the way it will work for the time and the turn. Confederate losses from turn 1 was 1 30th Virginia cavalryman killed, and the horse. Let's go over the Union forces. Currently commanding on the battlefield is Colonel Ambrose E. Burnside, hat in hand. And he has a staff officer and his color bearer. And then there is an independent headquarters unit that's starting on ambush. Oh, rewind to the rebel forces. There's one more unit starting on ambush. Oh, over here. I think I mentioned it. The sergeant for the squadron of 30th Virginia Cavalry and Colonel Evans. Okay, now back to the Yankee forces. So the Yankees headquarters guide will start on ambush. And now to go over Burnside's brigade. Here positioned behind Burnside in the forest is the 1st Rhode Island. In the road, the first unit to be fired upon and take the first casualties, 1 killed and 2 wounded, is the 2nd Rhode Island infantry. To their right is the 71st New York, and then the 2nd New Hampshire. Burnside has a 6-gun battery that is lined up behind the 2nd Rhode Island, and they want to get on the battlefield, but they have to first make some room for them. Let's take a look at their battery that's waiting to move forward. This is the 2nd Rhode Island battery, commanded by Captain Reynolds. There's Captain Reynolds. And it is a 6-gun battery. 12-pound Napoleon, 2 3-inch ordnance rifles, 2 10-pound Parrott rifles, and a 12-pound howitzer. The Union also has their headquarters unit, which is their signal officer, and the 2 soldiers with the wigwag flags. But they haven't come on. They can come on anytime now, turn 2. And they could wait. Right behind Burnside's battery, and able to come into the battle this turn, is in the front Colonel David Hunter on the white horse with his color bearer, and a part of his staff, but independent, is the other headquarters unit, the engineer officer, zone order dice. And we'll just go over this now. We will not go over Porter's brigade yet because they will not be arriving until turn 4. Colonel Porter, commanding 1st Brigade of 2nd Division. We will now go over the 1st Division, it's commanded by Brigadier General Daniel Tyler. I do not have enough regiments. I only have 15 infantry regiments for both armies, so I will only be able to use Colonel William T. Sherman's 3rd Brigade. And they will be arriving. We rolled last turn to see what Colonel Sherman would do, follow McDowell's orders, or to immediately charge across the bridge. Luckily, he rolled cautious. 3 of his regiments, the 13th New York, 69th New York, and 79th New York, and Colonel Sherman himself are marching from the Stone Bridge up to Poplar's Ford. And turn 4, they will be able to deploy from the corner of the battlefield to the road. 3 regiments. The 4th Regiment from the 3rd Brigade, we stayed here near the bridge, and that's the 2nd Wisconsin. And they are supporting the 7-gun battery, a 6-gun battery and a single gun. And they stay to support those guns, which my daughter has been using to rain bombardment of shell fire on my personal character, who's the long-haired fellow. My daughter's been trying to kill this group because I said I was going to assassinate Sherman when he came up. So she was able to pick off one of them with a shell, and surely she'll continue bombarding this turn. Here's the battery that is attached to Sherman's brigade. Company E, 3rd U.S. Artillery, commanded by Captain Ayers, center screen, and Lieutenant Ransom, second in command. They have a 6-gun battery. They have two 12-pound Napoleons, a 3-inch ordnance rifle, 10-pound Parrott rifle, and 2 12-pound howitzers. And they are all loaded. The green D6s and brown D6s show if a weapon is loaded, or, for example, if the infantry regiment is loaded, and then what their capacity is. So if a 1 is because it has 1 shot capacity. If it was a revolver or a carbine, it would have a 6, unless they fired off some of their rounds. And then the other battery that's here, I don't have a cannon for it, so this piece of paper is the cannon. 1st U.S. Artillery Battery G, it's just 1 30-pound Parrott rifle, nicknamed Long Tom. Commander is Lieutenant Peter C. Haynes. Let's go over the terrain. The woods, there's a lot of woods. From the beginning of the woods, 3 inches in, is soft cover. Occupants are visible and less hidden. 3 inches or deeper in woods, the unit is hidden and no firing out of the woods. Rough ground for movement, and they do block line of sight. The fences are soft cover and rough ground to get over. Woods and fences together, like where my rebels are positioned, is hard cover. So 2 soft covers equal a hard cover. The gardens, the corn, and the wheat fields are soft cover and rough ground. The BullRun Creek, as I mentioned, is impassable. I don't know if I mentioned it, but it's impassable, this small section of the BullRun Creek that's visible. The small creeks running throughout the battlefield are rough ground. The dead and wounded soldiers are rough ground. The buildings are hard cover and block line of sight, of course. Fortifications, like what my units are building here from the engineer officer who ordered them to dig in. Oh, when these soldiers are entrenching the 4th South Carolina and the number 12 gun they'll fire at a -1 to hit because half the crew is digging in, the other half can fire. And the 4th South Carolina here will only be able to fire half of their weapons as well because the other half of the troops are digging in. And once they are dug in, the entrenchments will be set. They'll be 7 to hit. So when you try to hit troops in trenches, entrenchments, foxholes, so forth, 7 to hit. The farm animals will run away from humans at a 2d6 scatter dice when humans come within 6 inches. Smart animals. And first, I think I remembered everything. And now we can begin. 10:40 a.m. Turn 2. We'll have ambush roll-offs first. Another part of this game, as I've developed it, each Union, the green dice, and Confederate, gray and black dice, we started with 10 reserve order dice, and those for each side. And those are used in situations where you want to detach soldiers in order to accomplish other missions. So if I want to break this unit here down into two squadrons of 3 cavalry, and one heads down this road, one heads toward me, that's okay. You got to use one of your reserve dice. And to put a reserve dice back into reserve, you can build it back up to 10. You have to just, for example, I would order with my Colonel Sloan of the 4th South Carolina to reattach the sergeant that I detached last turn, if that makes sense. So it allows for more options, command and control. So I'm giving it a try. And currently the rebels, my forces, are down to 1 reserve order dice. The other 9 were given out to split up cavalry squadrons and to have weapons reload. My daughter used all but 2 of her reserve dice to reload all of Sherman's battery so she could fire again at me this turn. So we'll have ambush roll off. I have to go flip a pancake real quick. And then we'll have an ambush roll off. General McLilly, you ready for an ambush roll off? Yeah. It's a big deal. So if she wins, she can use her guide to turn the 1st Rhode Island into the woods this way and face against the threat coming from my 30th Virginia detachment, who's on ambush. So if I win, I can immediately charge the 1st Rhode Island, flank them, and maybe even try to kill Burnside. And then I have also Colonel Evans on ambush, who he can give out 3 orders. So therefore I can fire with all the 12-pound howitzer and the 2 infantry regiments, try to pin these soldiers down so that General McLilly can't bring in her artillery until later on. Wait, can't roll yet. At the same time. 10:40 a.m. Turn 2. I mentioned the casualties taken by the 2nd Rhode Island. 1 killed, 2 wounded. I failed to mention that the 1st Louisiana Special Battalion volleyed into the 2nd New Hampshire and wounded 1 man and killed 3. So the Yankees took 4 KIA in turn 1 and 3 wounded, and the rebels took 1 KIA. We failed to mention how many order dice are going to be for each side. So the Confederate forces, my soldiers, have 22 going in the hat and 2 on the battlefield on ambush. And General McLilly's Yankees have 1 soldier on ambush and 47 order dice in the bag. The rebels are very much outnumbered.
Good.
Yeah.
5.
Ambush roll off. Oh, a 5. 5, reroll and fire. Oh, Yankees. General McLilly said she's not going to go for the Union solo game board. She wants to decide. So here's the threat. You have my 30th Virginia detachment coming. I'm on ambush, so I can attack you right now. They have shotguns and revolvers. 2 shotguns, 7 revolvers. That's 21 shots with revolvers, 3 shots for each if you're in rapid fire range, 6 inches or less. Shotguns, incredibly deadly at close range. I can get to the first Rhode Island. Can you hand me the pointer? By the way, my daughter has beat me at bolt action tank battles. She beat me at, what else? Sorry. So she's a veteran. Okay, so here's the situation. I can get to you with this assault force. I could even get to Burnside right now, and you can't really do anything about it. So, what your options are, you can turn the first Rhode Island and assault upwards toward me, but then your flank will be exposed to flank fire. So if you do turn them to defend, you're going to want to put them here in these woods so that I can hit you still, but it'll be cover, and I won't want to come charging anymore. Correct? Sorry. Okay, then the other situation is you need to push these regiments, 2nd New Hampshire, 71st New York, and 2nd Rhode Island. They need to push forward. Why? You have 6 cannons waiting to deploy, and this is your perfect deployment for your cannons right here. I would say up here, but you don't want to go there because I already have it under control currently. So here's your only option, I think, lining your cannons across here, 6 cannons, and then I'd have to leave. Once you have fire superiority, I'll have to flee. So that's what I would turn this regiment to keep me in check on my assault, and then the rest of these I would push them forward as fast as you can, even though they'll take losses, because you need to get me off Dogan Ridge, and the only way to do it is get artillery here. I'll let you think for a few minutes while I go flip the next pancake. So your guide that's on ambush is a lieutenant. He can pull 2 order dice or give out 2 reserve order dice, but you would pull them from the bag. Keep your reserves for now. So he can give an order to the 1st Rhode Island to turn and position themselves on defense, as I mentioned. And then what he's good at is making other units move for free. So you could either make him move them for free and don't use their order dice, or you could make the guide move one of these regiments for free forward, right? Yeah. And then use the Rhode Island dice, the 1st Rhode Island's dice. General McLilly has foiled my plans. So she is going to have the lieutenant guide order the 1st Rhode Island to wheel left and take position in the woods against the fence, giving them hard cover. All right, they wheeled left, and now, but the only thing is that this position, some of the, like I couldn't get 3 of the troops close enough to be able to be at the 3-inch rule to be able to fire out. And we'll measure, maybe they all are in range. Ooh, they foiled my plans, maybe. And that is the 1st Rhode Island. Next, the guide is going to order the 2nd Rhode Island to move from marching column into line of battle. Unfortunately, some of them will be in the open in the road. That's just the way it's going to be.
You two, work on those wounded soldiers.
Okay, Colonel Slocum has managed to turn the 2nd Rhode Island into from column to line of battle. General McLilly ordered 2 of the soldiers to stay with the wounded and try to work on them. And then she's going to fire a volley, I think, at the 12-pound howitzer. But we'll wait a moment and find out. So now she's got her 1st Rhode Island in a good position facing against my spoiled attack. And they're in hard cover because of the fence and the forest. And Burnside's safe now. I was going to have half of these assault troops kill Burnside, the other half assault the 2nd Rhode Island, but it doesn't matter, or 1st Rhode Island. Okay, 2nd Rhode Island is now in position. Can you roll this D6? Okay, you want to try to save the... Okay.
For the soldier bleeding out 3 turns.
She revived him on a roll a 5 or a 6. Let's roll for the other wounded soldier. You're 5 up. Oh, nice.
I saved 2 men today.
Yes, you did. The 2 revived soldiers will not be able to fire their weapons, and neither will the 2 acting as medics. Colonel Slocum is going to order them to fire after they've wheeled into battle line. And we've measured and counted the dice. She's going to have 11 smoothbore musket shots. Company B is equipped with Burnside carbines. Yes, Burnside developed his own carbine prior to the war, and they are using it. So they get 2 shots each. So that's 15 shots. Plus the 2 officers, their dice will be green. The enlisted will be white. And they will be firing. Are you going to fire at the 4th South Carolina or at the howitzer?
Howitzer.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be the officers' revolvers are hitting on 6s, and the smoothbore muskets and carbines are on 5s. And there's 19 shots. I'm going to go down and not fire the howitzer this turn. 2, 3, 4, 5 hits.
Yay.
Okay, so that now you need to roll 6s again. You know how it works to get 7s. No hits. So I won't get to fire, but that's okay. I didn't want to lose.
Okay,
So what would I have lost? Too many. My crew I would have been unable to fire next turn anyways. Second Rhode Island is unloaded. Well, except for the revolvers and the carbines. So the smoothbore muskets are all unloaded. They'll need to reload in order to fire. And then the carbines have 4 shots, so that's 2 weapons with 4 more shots before they need to reload, plus the 2 officers' revolvers have 4 shots before they need to reload. Okay, for the first Rhode Island, that's formed in the woods facing my assault force, General McLilly has said she is not going to fire, even though I told her she could. She has 13 shots hitting on 5s, but she said she wants to let me come attack and then shoot me in the back as I try to run away. Ooh, unpleasant. Okay, so then she will not fire after that advance order. Instead, will hold, ready to fire. Okay, and that's it for this first ambush for the Union guide, the lieutenant. And just to clarify, the guide moved the second Rhode Island into line of battle without an order dice, because that's what the guide does. He helps units run or advance on his own order dice. So they advanced into line of battle, and then he, with his being a lieutenant, can give out 2 order dice. He gave the first Rhode Island the order to face the assault force, and he gave the second Rhode Island a fire order, which is why they were hitting on. They didn't get the movement penalty when they fired. And my artillery piece is down, but I have 2 dice for this artillery piece, and I can go on ambush for next turn. I'll be ready. We are going to wrap it up for today. And there will be 2 rebel ambushes to address. Will I assault with the assault force? Probably. Yeah, probably. I can go in and shoot 2 shotguns and 7 revolvers into these boys here in the woods. And then also Colonel Evans is on ambush still, brigade commander. And he can give out 3 order dice. Therefore, I can make a lot happen. 2 volleys with the regiments. And there's still another dice. About 3 days from now, we will get back to the action. Learning games. A bit slow, but fun. Ooh, these rebels are going to be trouble. Dismounted cavalry. Glad I spared my cannoneers. My daughter played her hand well, I think. Strong position here. Got to push these regiments forward, though. Make room for her 6 artillery pieces. 3 days, we'll get back to the action.